In 2026 and beyond, there's going to be the real estate agents who win, and then the real estate agents who absolutely dominate. There's going to be those who don't focus on their brand and just hit a cap point. And then there's going to be other agents who go all in and start getting leads on autopilot simply because they took this serious. My name is Trey Wesley. I'm a content strategist who's responsible for over 120 million viewers, over 6 figures in sales from organic content alone, and for making high converting content no matter the industry that actually turns views into leads and clients. All right, so ultimately it's just going to come down to 3 simple steps. Right? And a lot of people like to overcomplicate this when it comes to building an online brand, especially for real estate agents like yourself. But it's more simple than you think, actually. I mean, it's just putting yourself out there and allowing people to form their opinions about you so that they choose to work with you or not. It's all about being likable, relatable, and able to connect with the person that you're trying to connect with. But here's the number one mistake people make, especially when starting out, and that's not treating content creation like the business itself. So what happens, right? Especially for the newbies, you get into the industry, hooray, you got your license, now what? You may, take some instructions from your brokerage, join a team, start door knocking, cold calling, reaching out to your sphere of influence. And then after that long list of to-dos, there's content creation at the bottom. Oh, and by the way, you can create content if you want, just to get some eyes on your business and yourself. Hey, but it's just a nice to have. Now, I want to point out that the ones who lose, win, and dominate, those are 3 sections. Ones who lose, they don't really create content at all. The ones who win, they create content, but they don't take it as serious as the ones who absolutely dominate. The ones who actually take time to realize that content creation is just as important as the business itself. Also, it's a learned skill that you can't just do and perfect right off bat. The ones who dominate already understand that part. Now, a lot of people are still stuck in their ways and treating content creation for the real estate brand as a hobby or a nice to have, and therefore you get hobby or nice to have type results. But the people who you see winning on social media and actually building strong brands and having people come to them instead of them being always on the chase, those are the ones who happen to get rid of that hobby mindset, and it usually happens quite fast. The way that you treat your real estate business on the daily basis, which probably is very serious, stuff like showing up, nurturing, studying, following up, and absolutely owning everything that you do. Those same traits and methods can and should be applied to your content creation for your business. Think of your real estate business as the car itself and the content behind it as the engine. Well, your business can't grow or let alone go anywhere at whatever speed that you want without the right type of engine making it work. Without that content system in place, well, you'll never see the results or get to the place that you ultimately want to get to without that engine. Now, of course, it's easier said than done. A lot of people don't even know anything about content creation, and a lot of people don't think to learn what content creation is. They just post just to post. But I tell you this, the most important thing before even starting anything, before picking up the camera, is you need to nail down your ICP. Your ICP is your ideal customer profile. You can't just get on camera and talk to any and everybody because that won't get you the results that you're looking for. You can't continue to chase the dopamine that comes from going viral or getting a lot of laugh emojis under your video, because little do you know, with that stuff comes a whole lot of other issues. So every time you post, the ones who dominate are talking to a very specific person, and they never shy away from that. Every post they do is always targeting somebody in specific. I have a framework, the F3 framework, that helps you nail down your ICP. But not only that, it helps you nail down who you are as a person before you ever start even making content. So the first part is figuring you. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your advantages, and you need to double down on that once you figure it out. You may have an advantage about yourself, whether that be about your personality or your wins in your real estate business. You have something that sets you apart from the next guy, because I'll tell you what, a lot of people are doing the same thing online, and that's what makes people blend in. And so what happens when a client is scrolling on their For You page and seeing all these realtors do the same thing? Well, then there's no way to differentiate yourself so that you stand out compared to the next guy or girl. How and why will they want to choose you over somebody else? What makes you stand out? What is your advantage? And on the flip side of that, you need to understand your weaknesses. If you're not good at talking head videos, simply because you haven't practiced enough, by the way, but if you're not good at that naturally, then try something else. You shouldn't have to force yourself to do something that you're not good at in the first place, because then your content will never reach people in the first place. Or if it does reach people, it'll never actually convert into the clients that you're looking for. So all in all, you'll just be wasting your time simply because you didn't figure out your weaknesses, and you chose to go that route simply because everybody else around you was doing the exact same thing. Forget everybody else. You need to understand you as a person first. And with your strengths, your advantages, your weaknesses, you need to also understand your values. How are you willing to portray yourself online? What is important to you? Those little things are exactly what makes you relatable to other people. And if people online are scrolling and they learn to like, know, and trust you, that ups the chances tremendously of them choosing you over somebody else, simply because you were relatable and you weren't afraid to stay strong to your values no matter what trends are taking place or how the algorithm is acting. You stayed true to yourself, and that's something that they can relate to. So figure yourself out first. Next step is figuring them out, your audience, who you're speaking to. What is your target audience's pain points? What exactly are their desires? What are their buying triggers? Like, what makes them want to buy? You need to learn how to speak their language, understand them as a person so deeply that every time you hop on camera, it feels like you're speaking directly to them, and they'll feel that. They will literally feel that energy through the phone that, wow, this person's speaking to me. Maybe I need to be the one to reach out to them. Once you just learn how to speak their language, understand what they want to see, understand what they want to hear at all times, how to be the absolute #1 solution to whatever problem they may have, and then literally and actually show it or say it so that they can see it, you would be surprised at the amount of people who will actually reach out to you simply because you spoke directly to them. There's going to be people who post very general things, and that speaks to a lot of people, right? But you don't want to always speak to a lot of people. You don't want to always speak to the masses. What you want to do is figure out in that audience that one person. It's like a laser beam. It's a lot of people, but you only want that one person in the audience. And once you get that laser on them, once you put the laser beam on that person, you understand them, that one person in the audience of 1,000 people. Then the way you show up online and everything that you do is catering towards them instead of trying to cater to everybody, which, by the way, caters to nobody. You've gotten yourself a client who saw you online, figured that you're the one who relates to them best. You're the one who answers all their questions the best. And boom, y'all ride off into the sunset because of one little tweak. And that's understanding who they are as a person and then actually taking those steps to reach them. The last thing, once you figure out yourself and them, you need to figure out the content itself. Now this part, given that you do, the first two parts correctly, this part actually comes a bit more easier because at this point you already understand who you are as a person and how you want to show up online. You already understand your audience and their pain points and their buying triggers. Now that you've got this system in place, the content part is just simply figuring out what to make. The content that both works for you and your audience, following a plan, checking off that list. The person who figures out that ICP to a T is already on their way to building that elite personal brand, that amazing online real estate brand that people just gravitate towards. Don't post just to post, post with absolute intention. So at this point, you fixed your mindset that content is just not a nice to have or a hobby, and you're treating content like a business itself. You're putting in the time, you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the work, you're studying the ins and outs of this thing because you realize how important this can be to your business. And you've nailed down your ICP, the person who you're talking to. You've nailed down who you are as a person, how you're going to show up online. You've nailed down your content and your content plan. And at this point, it's just a matter of checking things off the list and having those leads come to you. The third step, once you see that brand being built right in front of your eyes, is to really tone in on building a community first and not just a following. Having a lot of followers come your way is a dopamine like none other. I get it. Maybe a video that you just shot did extremely well and you're seeing all these clicks and likes and followers come your way and you're about to get lost in the sauce. You want to do it even more and more and more. And all of a sudden you're stuck in this race of always trying to chase viral. You're stuck in this race of always trying to get that follower count up because you think that that'll turn into something else. And then you lose a sense of who you actually are. And then you become a slave to the algorithm, which is unfortunately, one, what a lot of people do and what makes them quit. And two, something that gets you stuck in this never ending cycle of chase, chase, chase. There is a community aspect of your following, and that community aspect converts your attention into actual assets. Your assets being clients, referrals, sustainability. Once you learn how to treat people like they belong and like they should belong with you and only you compared to anybody else in this industry, once you start to make them feel like a friend, that's when they'll pull the trigger and buy with you. That's when they'll say, okay, that's my guy, that's my girl. I want to work with them and them only. Because at that point, you can post literally all the same stuff that everybody's posting, but they'll only still want to work with you simply because of who you are and how you decided to treat them after they followed you. If you make them feel important, if you make them feel like a friend, that changes the game around. Because at that point, the competition gaps get longer and longer and longer, and you're always ahead of the curve. No matter if you're posting, if you're not posting, if you're catering towards them, if you're not, they're going to want to stick with you every single time. Build a big following and the followers will watch you. If you build a community, the community will walk with you. They will buy with you. They will sell with you. They will work with you. You can have a million gazillion followers and I guarantee you that won't convert into sales. That won't convert into a actual strong brand. There's been people with millions of followers who didn't treat those followers that they got with any sense of friendship or with any sense of connection or relatability at that point. And then they try to sell a product or a service to them followers, and little did they know those followers were only following you because you did something cool or because they liked you for this much time. But those followers weren't dedicated enough to you specifically to want to buy anything from you. And so what do you have at that point? Well, you have a big following. That's great and all, but you have no clients coming your way. And not only that, being dependent on those algorithms is renting attention and juggling attention with everyone else. There's a ton of people who will get a big following from this. And it's all just one big attention game. You know, who gets the most attention? How many people can I get to come into my DMs and want to work with me? But if you're always just focused on the following itself and not the community aspect of anything, if you don't cater towards your audience that you've already built up, then I hate to break it to you, but you're just renting your attention. Like, it's not owned at all. You're just renting it out. And your landlord happens to be the people who are following you. If you want to make a buck from them, guess what? They have the choice whether to give you their money or not. It's all in their hands and you're just a little guinea pig at that point. Treat content creation like a business itself. Don't shy away from the hard work. Learn how to nail down your ICP and talk to them in every single video. And once you start getting your followers up, focus in on that community aspect and actually inviting them into your bubble. If your realtor actually wanted to build an elite online brand, go ahead and waitlist in the first link down below for my free school community, the Agent Outlier School. This is exactly where I'll be hosting all my resources, where I'll have hours, literally hours of content made for you to become the absolute best realtor in your city from content creation alone. I got so much more coming your way, and those who waitlist now for the free community will have access to things that people will have to pay for later. I hope this helped. Don't forget to subscribe. Go build that elite brand, and I will see you in the next one.